Well, you know what time it is, another episode and more My Team content. Here we are for the Singapore Grand Prix. First of all, if you haven't seen the previous episode, guys, at Monza, it was an absolutely insane race. Go check it out, link in the top right, and go and enjoy. But today, Singapore, a good track for us, traditionally a stronghold and one of our better ones. Having said that, on F1 2021, it's a bit of a better track for the AI, but still a good option for us to try and get some good points. This weekend, no rain expected, and we do have some upgrades on the way. The majority of them are on the durability side of things, but still a major one there for the engine and a minor one for the chassis. But crucially, this weekend we have, I believe, 8 upgrades on the car. 5 of them are performance related and the other 3 are for durability, and we've taken a mammoth step forward along with Ferrari, and we've joined the top 4 teams. So a big moment here today in this career mode as we finally made it and we are one of the top teams in Formula 1. Now, to go with that, for this one I actually used some old engine components for practice. I'm actually going to change them and do it properly this time before qualifying, so that for the qualifying session itself we've actually got our fresh engine components. After practice we scored 1,025 R&D points, and overall the weekend's got off to a good start. Having said that, I had some issues. So in qualifying I made some changes to my setup, but in practice I was really struggling with the balance of the car, and over curbs I could not drive the curbs. You know, I kept on having oversteer, the back end was all over the place. So I made some adjustments in qualifying. I increased the ride heights a little bit, I also adjusted the springs and the anti-roll bars, and I also went a bit more conservative on the aerodynamics, doing a +1 on the rear wing for stability purposes. And I went into that first run in qualifying, which you can see right now, trying to see what the changes were like. And to my surprise and to my delight, they felt pretty good. We managed to find our pace straight away and we went straight into the top 5. By the end of Q1 we finished in P12, but we got comfortably through by half a second. Nico Rosberg, the big surprising casualty, and surprised to see him knocked down in P17 already out of qualifying. In Q2 though, I went a bit more aggressive. I added a +1 to the front wing to make the car a bit more oversteery and have a bit more front end, and you know, because we're on the medium, so I want to try and push the limits a little bit. And to be fair, this lap was really good, but just through here I cut the corner and also clonked the wall on the exit for good measure, and putting an end pretty much to that attempt. Now, in my gut, I felt like I could get into Q3 on mediums. It had to be a perfect lap, but I thought I could do it. So I went back out on the exact same set of tyres for my final run, and we're going to commit to this. So here we go, at the final corner, onto the pit straight, and DRS wide open. Turn 1, you want to bring the car to the right. At about 50 meters from the apex, important to turn in and really open up turn 2 to really clean up turn 3 and get that nice run out of there. Turn 4, bring the car to the left and then try and just tap the inside curb and then straighten up the exit, opening DRS. On the throttle for about 10 seconds as we now look at for the brake point, which is usually the little gap in the wall on the right hand side there. That's kind of like the reference I aim for. Down to 4th gear, aggressive on the inside and exit curb. 3rd gear for this right-hander, 90-degree right-hander. Bring the car quickly back to the right to open the left. Important here to focus on your exit, using a little bit of opening there in the wall to really, you know, widen the corner as much as possible. The next left-hander, important to really carry that flow. One movement of the steering wheel, you know, just kind of turn in, commit to that, straighten up, flick it over the little kink, and then across the Allison bridge into the hairpin. Use all the runoff here to clean up your traction and make the corner as wide as possible as you then open DRS. And then the final sector, down to 3rd gear, turn 14. Again, use all the runoff to really clean up the traction and make the track as wide as possible. And then into a series of chicanes. First of all, a right-left, using all the curbing again, just trying to maximize every bit of track here. This time a left-right under the bridge, making sure we don't hit the wall here. We get very close to that one on the left. And then the final chicane is super aggressive on that one, over both curbs, and then using all the runoff on the right. And then the final corner, double apex left, 6th gear, full commitment, and then opening DRS across the line, and job done for us. Is the lap going to be enough? It was pretty quick, and the answer is yes, it is. We've done it. We've got into Q3 on a set of mediums with an absolute stonker of a lap on mediums. A 32.2, only 3/10 off Lewis Hamilton in a Mercedes. A huge lap from us, and we just made it by less than 1/10 of a second. So big clutch for us. And we turned up at the right moment. I felt like it was the right decision. In my gut, I knew I could get by in mediums, and I'm glad I managed to pull that off. And in Q3, my first run got off to a terrible start because out of turn 3, I just ran a bit too wide and instantly invalidated. Now, what I did do, I actually went on to finish the lap anyway because I wanted to have a delta to aim for on my final attempt. So this time I'm going to let you guys enjoy the sounds, and this was my best lap of the weekend, so let's jump into it. There it is, across the line, another very, very good lap. It wasn't as satisfying though as my medium time lap in Q2. That was by far the lap of the weekend for me. I felt like there was a bit of time on the table, but still, P5 for us. Very good result. Happy with that. Car working well. I do believe P4 was possible, to be honest, but oh well, it is what it is. Still a very, very good result. And if you'd offered me P5 at the start of the weekend, I would have taken it. So yeah, decent stuff. We start the race from 5th place on row number 3, and we get the benefit of starting on mediums, which is going to make our strategy a lot stronger. And we're definitely going to hold the ace up our sleeve this weekend. So decent qualifying. We're now going to move to the race, and we're going to see if we can try and make it back-to-back points finishes, possibly even podiums, considering we're starting from P5 on mediums.
Against the spectacular backdrop of the Singapore skyline, Formula One returns once again to do battle in what tends to become something of an endurance race, with the notorious sauna-like temperatures in the cockpit making for an extremely physically challenging Grand Prix. The Marina Bay Street Circuit then has 23 corners, 13 to the left and 10 to the right, taking us a total of 3.1 miles around the landmarks of downtown Singapore. An average lap speed around here, just 107 miles per hour. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Leclerc, Martinez, Daniel Ricciardo and Sainz, Perez, Vettel, Stroll and Lewis Hamilton, Gasly, Russell, Esteban Ocon and Raikkonen, Tsunoda, Rosberg, Antonio Giovinazzi and Nicholas Latifi. Norris, they've taken a grid penalty. Mick Schumacher, Mazepin and Christian Lundgaard. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Now this race is one that we can absolutely win because, breaking news, as you may have seen on the grid rundown, Lewis Hamilton has a grid penalty. He was the only other car, as far as I'm aware, in the top 10 that was starting on mediums. So, we have got the upper hand here. Let me explain. Around Singapore, the AI who start on soft tyres in the top 10 usually last about 7 to 9 laps on track before they have to pit. And 9 times out of 10, unless they pull away by 30 seconds in the first 6, 7, 8, 9 laps, they'll usually rejoin into slower traffic on medium or hard tyres and they can't overtake them. So the overcut becomes a very, very strong strategy, and that's the option that we have here today. So I'm expecting to struggle the first couple of laps on the mediums, trying to get on pace. But it doesn't really matter because once the AI on soft tyres pit and we get the free track on the mediums, we're going to be overcutting them quite comfortably. So all we've got to do is make sure to make no mistakes, and it could be a very effective one-stop strategy. So in this race, medium to hard tyre, boxing around lap 11, I might extend it by 1 or 2 laps just to make sure the overcut is secure and we can make it work. In terms of fuel, we're going to run 31 on the nose. I'm going to just go 1 click under, so 30.9, but kind of on the higher end of that. And yeah, no rain expected, so it should be a fun race, and I'm looking forward to it. So let's jump into it, and let's see if we can try and pick up a massive win here today at Singapore. Right, let's see. First and foremost, can we get a good start on the slower compound of tyre? 5 lights are on, and we're underway. It's a good reaction to the 5 lights, but multiple cars get good starts. Ricciardo gets off the line well, so does Sainz. We're going to have to be careful. Sainz goes sideways. Contact with the McLaren, we just about avoid it. But Sainz is going to drop to the back of the field with that contact. We've got Stroll behind in P6. What a start from Stroll. P6 on mediums. That's insane. And that's good news for us because he's going to act as a bit of a rear bodyguard, you know, for Perez and the faster cars behind. So I actually don't mind that. So very good start from us. Done a pretty decent job to Sabres on mediums, but I can't believe Lance Stroll from, I believe, outside the top 10 on a set of mediums up to P6. What a start from him. But this is fine by me. We've only lost 1 place. Let's see if we can now try and keep pace. If we can stay within DRS by lap 3, that would be incredible, because once that happens, we're going to be looking very good in terms of strategy in this race. So I'm going to focus up now and see if I can run at a good pace. Obviously, these tyres aren't fresh. We done 2 laps in qualifying, push laps on them, and of course the in lap and out lap as well. So yeah, we're not going to have the best tyre wear right now, but we should still be okay, and eventually in the long run have the advantage over the soft tyre. So I'm going to focus up and make sure Ricciardo doesn't pull away, because he's already starting to open a gap here. Okay, so we've got DRS from Ricciardo, we've done the job, and also I've dropped Stroll out of the 1 second range, so this is perfect. Let's just keep it going. The race will come to us once the pit stops arrive. I believe the window opens actually from lap 6, if I'm not mistaken, anywhere between 6 and 9, depending on, you know, different cars and their respective tyre wear. But this is perfect for us, and it just really helps having Stroll behind me as a rear gunner. I don't think it's going to last forever now that he doesn't have DRS on me, but for now he's going to keep doing the job for us. Personal best, running at a very good pace right now. Ricciardo doesn't have DRS on Verstappen here, so I'm going to see if I can try and pass him and make at least, you know, an overtake happen for you guys, so you can watch one happen live. Let's see. It all depends on the exit I get out of here. That's good. Right, let's see if we can pass Ricciardo and at least get 1 overtake in this video. Here we go. To the outside. Gonna go the long way around. Lovely. Nice clear move. Well, already you can see the medium tyre starting to take effect, and we're starting to have the upper hand in terms of pace as the soft tyre fades very quickly around here. Let's go after Max and get within his DRS. We've got a yellow flag on the pit straight. I've just seen that on the mini-map. Williams slowing down. This could be interesting in terms of the race strategy. Shouldn't change much though for us. Christian Lundgaard out the race. Will we finally get a safety car? Looks like we won't. Again, the safety car has just not turned up yet this season, I don't think. It refuses to make an appearance. And there we go, the AI pitting already. End of lap 5, even earlier than I thought. Leclerc, Bottas and Verstappen all in.
Yellow flag.
And we're going to take the race lead, so let's go nice and long.
Be aware, there's an incident in the next part of the track. No overtaking through the yellow flags.
Yeah, don't worry about it, Jeff. It's all good. The big surprise is Leclerc. He was pushing Bottas there for the race lead. He was running at a very good pace, so the Greg, Mr. Lord Percival, running pretty strong around here. But yeah, they're now going to feed out into traffic, so that's where their race is going to come to an end. So we're chilling right now. This is perfect. Hamilton now P5 on that medium tyre. He might still be a threat. It depends how he kind of gets through the traffic and how quickly he passes Stroll. If he gets into the back of us, he might cause us some issues. We've got another yellow. Another failure. This time it's a Haas. Yellow flag. End of sector 2.
Some information on Schumacher. They're retiring from the race.
Or end of sector 1 more like. And again, safety car and VSC are not wanting to appear, so fair enough. Pace is still pretty good. I'm not going too mad with the pace right now though, in terms of I can go faster, but this is enough right now. We're still pulling away from Stroll gradually. There's no need to go crazy. I'm trying to make sure we keep our tyres alive, and I'm also trying to save up my ERS a little bit because we used quite a fair bit in those opening stages. So I'm just trying to recharge and then kind of save up for one more push before we box around lap 13. That's what I'm aiming for. We did get a strategy change and delay the pit stop from lap 11 to lap 13 as I expected, and as I mentioned in the intro, we're going to go a bit longer anyway, so yeah, lap 13 makes more sense for us, and we're just going to keep going really until the tyres start to really drop off. I think Stroll stays out for one more lap. Hamilton pits though, so Lewis going for a potential undercut. We're going to stick to the strategy though. I think Lewis may still be in a little bit of traffic when he rejoins, and even if he isn't, I think the 5 seconds he had, you know, behind me, I don't think he's going to make it up in 2 laps. So we're going to stick to lap 13, stick with the plan. Meanwhile, Rosberg has a 5-second time penalty. He's in P5 right now, but penalty for Rosberg. Hopefully he'll serve that in the pit stop. That's going to cost him a little bit. And there we go, Stroll pits, and I think everyone else will probably join him this lap except for either Esteban Ocon or George Russell, whichever one of the Alpines stay out. Will Rosberg pit? Yes, he does. Right, let's pit this lap then. Hamilton has been able to undercut Stroll, so it's paid off for him. It could be close actually between us, but I think we should still be okay. As long as the pit stop's like a, you know, a mid-2, nothing in the 3s, we should be fine. Right, here we go. Let's get rid of these tyres, and let's strap on a set of the hard tyre and go to the end. Pretty boring race, but that's exactly how I want it. No action, just a nice easy one. Russell should be in this lap as well. Bottas P3 still, he's still out there on mediums, but he's 2-stopping by the looks of it, because I don't think he'll be able to take a set of mediums to the end. So Bottas will take the lead for now, but he will have to stop again. So we're kind of racing Hamilton here for P1. In we go.
Release.
2.5, decent stop, hard tyre on, and away we go. So Russell in the pits, here comes Bottas.
Look after these tyres now. We want to finish the race on this compound.
Easy on the pit exit. Bottas only just gets ahead of us, but he's going to be on a faster tyre, so we'll let him crack on. Crucially, we're ahead of Lewis by 3.5 seconds, so we haven't lost the lead. So Hamilton now is our direct rival. Stroll, interestingly, is on for medium, so 2 stops for Stroll as well in this race. All we've got to do now, though, is keep Lewis behind us for the rest of the race. We're approaching half race distance, so we're looking pretty decent right now. Personal best, pretty good pace. Going into the low 36s, I'm actually pulling away from Hamilton, so this is going pretty well. We're keeping up with Valtteri, so long may it continue. At this pace, we're going to be winning this race quite comfortably, I think. And there we go, Bottas pits. I'm on for another personal best here. Pace is really strong. I'm getting faster each lap. Maybe try and push for a purple lap, you never know. Probably not. Realistically, that's going to go to Bottas, but we're looking very good right now. The pace is better than I expected. Another personal best. 36, dead. Still not our fastest lap though. I wonder what the fastest lap actually is. Just got another yellow there on the end of the second sector. I think it may be a spin. Yeah, it's just probably a spin, I think, from the Ferrari. Or not. Something's happened. I'm just waiting to see if we get confirmation. Is it a retirement? Yes, it is. Oh my god.
We've been informed that the safety car is out. There appears to have been an issue with multiple stopped vehicles on the track.
Well, safety car is then. And I think that was Sainz or an Alpha. I can't quite tell. But they went for a spin. Safety car in this lap. Going to try and work on getting some tyre temperatures. I always do this right at the last minute to minimise tyre wear. Instead of warming them constantly throughout the safety car phase, you just get to warm them up right at the end, and it's quite efficient, to be honest. You can get them warmed up, even the hard tyre, relatively quickly. I like how this year we've got full control under the safety car, unlike last year. There's no auto limiter or anything like that. We've actually got full control, so I get to dictate when we start, and that is going to be now. Let's go. Let's send it. Right.
Green flag.
Let's do this. 10 laps to go. Well, 11 laps to go technically. It's going to be a shootout, but we should be okay. First order of business is to try and stretch the pack out a little bit. There should be some cars that still have to 2-stop, like Lance Stroll, for example, and George Russell. Now, the first order of business is to try and clear the cars behind, so get over a 1-second gap before DRS gets enabled on the 3rd lap after the restart. First warning for track limits as we just cut that corner a bit too much. I was pushing to try and pull away, and we have got over a 1-second gap to Lewis now, so this is working out perfectly for us. Pace is very strong. So DRS is now enabled, and we've got pretty much a 2-second gap over Lewis Hamilton, so we have done our job. Worth noting, George Russell has actually passed Valtteri Bottas for position for P4. Obviously, George and Lance still need to pit and use a different compound, but this is looking pretty decent for us right now. The pace is very strong. Trying to push for a fastest lap here. I'm on for a personal best as it stands. I don't think we have enough pace though. The fastest lap is at 35.6. 35.7. Didn't quite make it. I tried. We just don't have enough pace for that, so we'll have to accept not getting the fastest lap, especially now Ricardo just pumped in a 35.5. That's probably going to get moved. The goalposts will get shifted as the race goes on. There we go, 35.2 from Lando Norris. Forget it. So, never mind. Let's just bring this car home in P1. So I believe Stroll and Russell have now pit, and everyone that has to stop has done so, including Rosberg right now, which is not ideal.
Nico has come into the pits. He's in the pit lane now.
So this is going to be a final finishing order. Bit of a shame Rosberg didn't pit on the safety car. A lack of strategy IQ from the team, really. Second warning for track limits. Let's try not to get another one. Well, I've got to say, it's been a very, very dominant race. Very comfortable. And a classy performance, I've got to say. Car's been phenomenal. These hard tires are great. I'm really enjoying these. They're just super consistent. I can push every single lap. But here we go then. At the end of 31 laps, the best strategy, the best race pace, and the smartest mind, and we're going to win. And some well-deserved fireworks are coming our way. Get in. We're back on top of the podium.
Thank you. I need a moment.
You worked hard for that one. Congratulations.
A nearly flawless performance here then, and a commanding victory. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
Well, the safety car completely changed the race, didn't it? It's hard to say exactly what would have happened without it, but there's no question that they came out of that situation in a good position.
Here comes your top three making their way down to the podium for what can only be described as a fantastic day for Formula One.
Well, what can I say? It was a classy performance and a pretty convincing race win. The best strategy, the best car, and we dealt with it beautifully. So really happy, and also happy with the comeback over the weekend. In Friday practice, we had a very oversteery and a car that was all over the place, and the pace and the stability of the car, the changes we made into qualifying really helped. And yeah, you know, making it into Q3 on the mediums as well was really important, and it all paid off. So a good weekend comes together. We win and pick up 25 points. Hamilton second, Bottas third, Ricciardo P4 from McLaren, Verstappen P5, and Norris P6. So the McLaren cars bounce back this weekend. Perez P7 ahead of Gasly, Vettel and Leclerc. And Charles Leclerc, a bit of a poor race. He was running as high as P2 at the end of the first stint, and he did end up picking up the fastest lap. So the pace was there, just a bit of a bad strategy from Ferrari. Shock. Stroll P11, Raikkonen P12 ahead of Sainz, Russell, Rosberg P15, Tsunoda, Mazepin, Giovinazzi, Ocon, Latifi, and then Schumacher and Lundgaard out of the race. So Rosberg having a bit of a poor weekend, it has to be said. In the driver standings, we are still in 5th place, only 4 points behind Verstappen, and the battle for 3rd, possibly 2nd, is on. You know, we can fight, the car has improved, and there's no reason why we can't challenge. In the Constructors, we're P5, only 6 points behind Aston Martin, so you never know. If Rosberg decides to turn up in these final races now, we could be in for a shout at the top 4 in the Constructors' Championship, so it's going to be a good battle. But anyway, let's move into upgrades, and let's see what we can do moving forward. Now then, after that race, we managed to outscore Verstappen by 2 points, and overall a pretty decent weekend. We currently have a 3-point lead in the rivalry, so the last 2 races have been very good to us and things are looking up. Now, after that race, acclaim-wise, not a lot of changes realistically. Again, that's really going to struggle to change now moving forward, but things are looking good. The next race was meant to be Russia. Of course, we're not racing there because we replaced that with China in round 2 earlier on this season, so I believe it's Japan next, which I'm very excited about. We get a full payout from all of our sponsors, a few damages, it has to be said, not a lot of money coming in from there, but still a good weekend all round, and a win, you know, is always going to be very welcome indeed. So 9.1 mil, and we move on to upgrades. Now, it's a relatively short turnaround for the next race, only 3 days, but we do have 2 upgrades on the way in between that, which is pretty insane. We're going to go ahead and do some second driver work, and we'll go for the external training for Nico. We'll also add a podium celebration to improve the team's morale. To go with that, we're going to go for some upgrades. 2,300 R&D points to spend. We can definitely afford to spend some of those. The Halo is going to be one of them straight away. Rear downfalls, 15% discount. Happy to take that. And on the chassis, is there anything relatively cheap? The brake disc width, that's quite expensive. 1,400 points. Engine, can we get anything here maybe? Fuel flow regulator, not really a massively inspiring upgrade. On the durability, the ICE, MGUH, MGUK, we'll go for the turbo reliability, why not, 900 points, and yeah, we'll move on to the next race. So, job done, let's see if the upgrades arrive, and hopefully all looks good heading into Japan. Now before we do, we've been hit with another event, this time a personnel department, so let's see what they have to say. Routine change, we want to inject some variety into Rosberg's simulator program, so we're making some changes to today's session. What do you want us to focus on? So +7 on experience, which would mean more R&D points, or +7 on racecraft. I think it's racecraft. We want Rosberg to pick up big points for us, so we're going to go for that one. So we're ready for the next race in Japan, but before we go, we did have a failure on the engine for the rotor speed, so we'll have to buy that back in the next episode. The remaining upgrades have arrived, so we're looking pretty decent. So yeah guys, that's going to be it from me here today. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like. Let's try and smash over 1,200 likes on this episode. Subscribe if you're new to the channel guys, we're on the way to 100k, and as always check out the 2 videos on screen if you haven't missed them. But that is it from me here today, and I'll see all of you next time.